The first day I came to work, I pulled in here and there was a single building sitting here and a gravel parking lot and a cornfield behind me. I sat in my truck and I remember thinking to myself, what do I do now? I didn't have a phone, I didn't have a desk, didn't have a chair, didn't have a computer, didn't have anything. And I'd been tasked with the job of create the place.
Create the place.
When I first came on board, there were basically three of us, and it was an opportunity to do something that really hadn't been done in the area before. It intrigued me that the first board was a combination of a bunch of Wildlife Unlimited guys and a bunch of educators from the intermediate school district.
And the folks at Wildlife Unlimited approached us and said, we've got this idea and we need help getting into the schools.
And somehow these two groups could come together and envision this organization and actually get it off the ground.
People caught the spirit and then you couldn't let it go. I mean, those of us that have been around from the beginning, it's still, in my mind, a hugely important part of my life.
So it was fun dreaming from that point on what it could be, but I'm not sure any of us ever imagined exactly what it ended up being.
So our mission as an organization is really to advance conservation and education in West Michigan. We started with Outdoor Discovery Center, which is, where I'm at today, and it's our 155-acre nature preserve. It's a place that we've invested most of our resources in creating an environment that is open, free to the public, gives everybody access. And one of our core values in that is that every single person deserves the right to spend an adequate amount of time outdoors each day, interacting and connecting with their environment. Over the years, we've built what's now 9 different business divisions that help operate our mission. And each of those business divisions address very specific aspects of it, whether it's in the conservation lane or in the education lane.
We often hear people say, wow, it seems like you guys have your hands in a lot of things. And what we try to share with people is it really boils down to 2 things. We're really about educating the community, especially children and families, and conserving and protecting the places around us.
Our community is, I think, more ecologically literate. The care that people have for the greater Holland area and our watershed is largely been fostered by the initially humble but increasingly expansive programs that the ODC has to offer.
Education and conservation go hand in hand. If we're not educating people about the outdoors, we can't expect them to want to preserve and protect them. And if we don't have an outdoors there to educate them in, it's awful hard to make that cycle work.
Protecting and preserving our land and water.
The ODC Network, through the wonderful leadership of Travis Williams, have really become our community champion to protect and preserve our natural environment, to lead projects like Project Clarity, to restore things that we have damaged unintentionally.
We ended up starting Project Clarity. Project Clarity is an initiative focused on cleaning and restoring the Macatawa watershed, which is about 175 square mile watershed. It's relatively small, speaking of watersheds, but it's heavily impaired by phosphorus and sediment runoff. And so we partnered with a variety of organizations in the community, the Macatawa Watershed Project and Hope College and Grand Valley's Annis Water Resources Institute, as well as some private partners, to end up developing a program that really would focus on a multifaceted approach of connecting with farming community, with business community, with our government community, revamping how we treated our watershed and how we treated runoff and water and our drains and streams.
There had been a lot of discussion about Lake Macatawa and its condition, but it continued to kind of be kicked down the road. So I called Jim Brooks, and Jim and Donna and Betsy and I started a conversation. we started providing some impetus to this thing to stop kicking it down the road. But we wouldn't have been able to execute on it without the Outdoor Discovery Center. They were really the backbone of the effort.
Project Clarity has done a world-class, unprecedented job of bringing together all the stakeholders and impactors of the watershed, and through patient and gracious communication, education, facilitation, really helped connect the dots really for Dykhuis Farms and for other agricultural producers, other farmers, understanding what a farmer can do on his property to positively impact the watershed.
I can't get enough credit to Travis and to ODC, taking the long view and recognizing that we need some short-term successes, and also recognizing that science needs to be at the forefront of this. Travis is able to bring that all together, and in this case, particularly for Project Clarity, keep his eye on the ball. But when you think about what goes on at ODC, Project Clarity is really a small element of everything else he's got. All those balls being juggled, none of which I know hit the ground, and it truly is very impressive.
Leading a nature-based education revolution.
Over the last decade now, it's been a transformation in how people have engaged and embraced the idea that kids and families need to actually have adequate amount of time outdoors in order to be healthy and happy and live a vibrant life. And so we've built programs like Little Hawks Discovery Preschool and our programs at Outdoor Discovery Center and now through DeGraff Nature Center, where we are really working to connect families and children to the outdoors.
Really what's fueled Little Hawks is what's going on in a child in their birth to 5 development. Nature is providing that chance for kids to wonder, and we know that the brain is developing at a rapid pace. Their imagination is what's fueling all of their growth. Our teachers are unique because we work in the letters and the sounds and counting as part of their imaginative play, and that holds more power to our young kids. It means more when it's part of their world and what they're engaged in.
This is an I. Say I. I for ice. Today we're going to go make an ice rink in the forest. When I was a kid, I walked in the woods with my brother when I was this many years old. 5? When I was 5, just like you. I walked in the woods and I noticed something. I moved some of the snow, and underneath of it, there was ice. We brought shovels, me and my brother, and we shoveled off the ice. And then we slid on it with our boots and pretended we were ice skaters.
3, 2,
When we were in the forest yesterday, we found a secret spot that has ice under the snow.
Go Vivian, ready?
3, 2, 1, go!
It's about cultivating curiosity. And for so long, I'm afraid we've quashed curiosity. Not at ODC. Travis has described our traditional public education system as polite incarceration, and he knows I kind of chuckle when I hear that, and I can't disagree. We know that desks and rows and toes might still work for some of our young learners, but we know that so many of our kids need much more than that.
We are meant to learn by using our hands, by smelling things, by seeing things.
The ODC and others like ODC who prioritize the social emotional learning of children and coming along families, they're at the forefront of what really needs to happen in early childhood. ODC is the perfect place to support readiness of children and families as they enter kindergarten.
Holland Christian and Outdoor Discovery Center's relationship really began at the inception of Forest School. There's something very holistic and very natural about seeing a child in the dirt and in the stream and licking snow and looking under rocks. Travis and Rachel have given us the courage to not only dream about a program, but quite quickly put legs on that dream. When they began Little Hawks, they too had no classroom, they had no teacher, and Travis looked me in the eye and said, this can be done, and it can be done well.
Little Hawks has created a passion in Allison to just explore the outdoors and discover everything in the outdoors, whether encouragement to get outside and go explore, to picking up trash as we're on our walks, to emotional regulation, that she has picked up at school.
It is extremely important for us to be able to build a capacity for our children and tomorrow's leaders to understand their community, understand the natural world, understand their land, and how these things connect and how they interact with one another so that we can build a better sustainable future for our community.
The impact of ODC Network.
Because ODC exists, our community, and especially children and families, have way more access to our natural environment.
We understand our connection to nature and how that can improve our lives in a much more significant way.
Our economic systems, our social systems, our political systems are all dependent on the natural world. The Outdoor Discovery Center is helping people to understand that.
Our community benefits from family time, being in nature, finding the value in going for a walk, set the screen down, spend some time together, get outside.
I personally get to enjoy a network of connected greenways throughout the community, that magic network that the Outdoor Discovery Center has worked so well to create for all of us.
What the ODC delivers in connecting people, land, and nature really gets to the soul of what we as humans need.
Because the Outdoor Discovery Center exists, our community has been able to open doors for kids that have long been shut. We've been able to partner with them in a way that elevates education, that makes it relevant, engaging, and is something that we couldn't do without their help.
And that's what ODC's nature-based education does. It's really a game changer.
Because of ODC's first 20 years, many more people have experienced what nature-rich really is and what it feels like for a community to own its own ecosystem.
We're lucky to have such strong leadership there that continues to look forward.
There's really no time to take a break. The work is going to only expand in significance, impact, reach, and importance.
It's that partnership, it's that kinship between us and nature that is going to allow us to make good decisions going forward and having positive impact.
Without ODC, I don't know that we would have an organization that's really paying attention to the long-term well-being of this community as it relates to our understanding and experiencing of nature.
So currently we're thinking about what our community will look like 20, 30, 40 years from now. And if we're not addressing the pace at which we develop our communities, how we choose to develop our communities, the things that we value about where we call home right now may be lost. And lost in a way that no amount of fundraising or dollars can repair. And so we want the community not to be worried about their future, but to be proactively involved in making it what they hope to see.
I think we want to remain collaborative. We want to make sure that we are not duplicating things, but that we're helping lead in the appropriate way. We've kind of built a mass here now that allows us the flexibility to address problems, be part of solutions, and use our expertise to make our community the best place to live, work, play, and learn.
For 20 years, ODC Network has grown and evolved into a spectacular community asset in Western Michigan. It's helped reshape education along the lakeshore in public and private schools alike, and it sparked a sweeping transformation of our community's approach towards our lakes and rivers, as well as promoting responsible management of our land. It's been a remarkable, often surprising journey for the first 2 decades, but it's really just the beginning. And it's all thanks to the collaborative and encouraging spirit of thousands of our community's children and families whose lives have been touched by the programs and impact of ODC Network. We make a powerful difference when we partner together to make our community the best place to live, work, play, and learn.